Welcome. This is Michael Wickett again, and I'm enormously excited about the wonderful possibilities that you have. I say that because the world is a place of almost unlimited opportunity, and we have a fantastic mind which has very few, if any, limitations. However, life is not based on what is available in the world. Life is based on what is in our creative minds. I had a wonderful teacher, Arnold Patent, along the way, and in his weekend seminar in 1982, he said that if you're not experiencing abundance in every area of your life, something inside of you is blocking it. Now, when I first heard that, I resisted it because I thought, boy, there's no way in the world that I would block my good. But as I came to understand mind principles better, I realized he was absolutely right. If we are not experiencing our heart's desires, if we're not experiencing the prosperity and the love and the joy we desire, there is an impediment to that experience. The impediment is not in the world, it is inside of us. You see, my friend, there's two ways to change your life. One is by putting new information in, and the second is by letting go of old information. And the second one is far more powerful than the first, because our minds are a pure energy field. When we let go of old images, when we let go of old impediments and reprogram our mind with new images, our lives change virtually immediately. What happens is that sometimes we go through life and at the conscious level, we struggle, we strive, we try to get life to work. And sometimes we don't understand why we don't get what we want because we cannot see sometimes the unconscious impediments that have been with us for a long, long time. The good news is that using the techniques of Jose Silva, we can go to the alpha level and we can remove, like cancel out for all time, any impediments that are keeping us from our heart's desire. Overcoming impediments so that you will be able to fulfill your mission in life. Think of it this way. Let's imagine tomorrow morning you got up and you got ready for work and you got dressed and you went over to your closet and you grabbed a 25-pound weight belt and strapped it on your left ankle. And then you reached into the closet and grabbed another 25-pound weight belt, strapped it on your right ankle. You now have 50 pounds on your body. And then you reached into the closet and grabbed a 50-pound belt for your waist and you strapped it on. Now you've got 100 pounds on your body. Let's suppose you reached in and grabbed a backpack that weighed 100 pounds and put it on your back. You would now have 200 pounds on your body. Let's imagine that all day tomorrow you walked around and the 200 pounds never left your body. Everywhere you went, the 200 pounds was on you. How do you suppose you'd feel by the end of the day? You'd feel pretty darn tired, wouldn't you? Let's suppose the 200 pounds didn't come off for the next week. You slept with it, you got up with it, you ate with it, you went to the bathroom with it, you drove in the car with it, you did your duties all day long, your work duties. By the end of a week, you'd be almost wiped out. Now, suppose the 200 pounds stayed on your body for a month, you'd probably be half dead. Now, none of us would consciously, deliberately do that, and yet we will go years and years and years carrying around emotional weights that weigh us down and short-circuit our possibilities. For most people, especially those who live at the conscious beta level of life, you can't remove impediments because you can't change your life at the beta level. Using the Silva Ultramind techniques, you can go down to the alpha level. You can cancel any and all impediments and old beliefs, and you can reprogram your mind with brand new images, and as a result, get a totally different outcome. Now, one of the great benefits to me from the Silva Mind techniques is to be able to do exactly this, because you see, I had, as you heard earlier, I've had an awful lot of negative programming in my life. Now, I don't blame anybody because I accepted those images into my mind, so I take total responsibility. But using the Silva techniques, I have gone back to some of the relationship blocks that I had. When I was 16 years old, my dear mother said to me, "Michael, I pity the girl that you marry." And that remark was so hurtful to me that not only did it never leave me, I believed it was true. I believed that I would never be somebody who could be a loving partner. I went back to the alpha level several years ago with the Silva techniques, and I brought up that image that I would never be able to be a loving person in a relationship, and I eradicated it. I canceled it out for all time. And I put in an image of me being a wonderful, loving partner. As a result of that, I created the most wonderful, loving, joyous relationship of my whole life. These techniques are very powerful. I wanted to be more peaceful. Now, going back 15, 20 years ago, I had a lot of bitterness and hatred toward a couple of people, and I dealt with a great deal of it with forgiveness techniques. When I learned the Silva techniques, I went to level and asked higher intelligence, what do I need to let go of? What is keeping me from being more peaceful? And it came to me that I had had some grudges, very deep grudges against just a couple of people. And it became obvious to me that was an impediment to being peaceful, because if you hate or resent, you can't be peaceful. It's one or the other. See, being peaceful is not just a conscious decision, it's a deep subconscious position. And so, on the screen of my mind, I brought up the images of a couple people that I held grudges against. Using the Silva techniques, I removed those grudges, I removed those blocks, I removed those impediments, and I sent them unconditional love and support. And I can tell you, in the last couple years of my life, I have enjoyed more peace than any time ever before. And I'm 57 years young in a couple weeks, so we're talking a long time. I've been able to eradicate some things that kept me from being more peaceful. Do I have a perfect life? No. Do I have peace every minute of the day? No. Do I have peace on a regular basis every day? Absolutely yes. But I use these techniques every morning of my life. And then I had some rather interesting program about business and money. I heard that money was the root of all evil. I heard that it didn't grow on trees and that it wasn't very spiritual. And I believe those things. I learned those things as a small child. I learned them from experts. I learned them from authority figures, so I believe them as true. Using the Silva techniques, I went to the alpha level. I looked at those beliefs and saw that those are impediments to me serving people all over the world. Those are impediments to me doing everything I wanted to do. And so I took such remarks as a friend of mine once said, Michael, face it, you weren't meant to be rich. I took those images that I had accepted as true, and I eradicated them from my consciousness using the Silva techniques. I totally, completely let them go, and I visualized the way I wanted to feel about business and money, the level that I wanted to go to, and the things that I wanted to happen. And very late in life, I changed my images about business and money. So what I want to say to you is, if you don't have what you want, don't blame anybody. Don't blame yourself. If you don't have what you want, don't make excuses. That will not help you. Peak performing individuals take responsibility. I call it absolute, gentle responsibility. So you take responsibility, but you don't beat yourself up. If you don't have what you want from life that you have been focusing on and going after, there is an impediment inside of you that is blocking it. Consciously, deliberately, there's no known way to get rid of it. Jose Silva has given us techniques that we can use at the alpha level to eradicate any impediments to our goals and our dreams and the life we want, and immediately change the energy of our life and refocus our minds and image on where we want to go and change everything in our life. I mean, to me, that's almost miraculous. The catch-22 of life is people are creatures of habit. And people have the same habits they've had for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and their life never changes. I mean, we all know people who have been unlucky in love for the last 10 relationships. If you're unlucky in love, finding another person will not work. You'll have exactly the same experience. If you eradicate the old image and put an image of you being lucky in love, then your mind will easily, effortlessly create it. And now to share some additional ideas with you on how to overcome impediments, here's Jonelle.
Hi, I'm Jonelle Monaco Lytle, and earlier I had shared with you how the Silva systems had given me so many blessings during my lifetime, and I'd like to share a few of those blessings with you now. Earlier in my life, I had a very happy childhood, 2 wonderful parents. However, by the time I was in the 8th grade, some things happened that actually programmed me for failure. And I don't want to sound like a victim. I was a 13-year-old when this happened, and I'm not going to go into detail, but for approximately 6 months, I weekly, sometimes daily, heavily considered suicide. And the only thing that kept me from taking my life was because I could not imagine when my parents would find me that I could do that to them. So it was my compassion for saving my parents, the cruelty of finding me dead, that I would talk to myself and tell myself, well, I'll try this one more week. And that's how I got through the first half of the 8th grade. Several years later, in the best public school systems in America, one teacher out of 12 years of school put a little positive seed in my biological computer. It was a compliment that she gave me. And then that next spring, one more compliment. And the reason I like to explain this is that those were 2 little positive seeds that actually started growing. And through that, it helped change my self-image slightly. However, by the time I was 30, I still had a whole lot of residue of what happened to me back in the 8th grade in the public school system. From the time I was 19 to 30, because of the trauma in 8th grade, I developed a compulsive eating disorder, and for 11 straight years, I gained anywhere from 25 to 30 pounds every single winter, and I would struggle all spring so that I could get back down in my bikinis by summer, and it was a real effort. I would starve myself, I would over-exercise, I was miserable, and then at age 30, I was introduced to one of the Silva training systems, and I was able to overcome that eating disorder. I was able to get rid of pain that I had since childhood. So a number of things happened to me with the Silva method, but the greatest thing that happened was that I found out that Jose Silva had studied geniuses in depth, and he found that they had many characteristics in common. And I was able to be trained to have those same exact characteristics, not only the same brainwave frequency, but to be able to do the same things that they could do, especially on that afternoon when I graduated and saw that I could use my mental faculties for detection and actually verbalize on something at a distance like geniuses do and prove to myself that I could use my faculties of genius. It was the beginning of the process that started raising my self-image. Now, at the same time, I was also a substitute teacher in the public school systems in Virginia Beach, Virginia. The very next morning, I happened to be in a remedial math class for 8th graders. And as I saw those students struggle, I realized that the trauma in my 8th grade, had that not happened, that there's always a blessing in everything. And had that not happened, maybe I wouldn't have been compassionate that morning to share some of what I learned the week before in the Silva training system. So as soon as the students were through with their 5 problems, and I was watching them struggle with the problems and looking at the frustration on their faces and knowing that, maybe these students, they're in 8th grade. When I was in 8th grade, I thought about suicide because I felt like such a failure. And maybe they're experiencing some of the same pain that I was experiencing because they're in a special class. So as soon as the last student was through with the last problem, I pulled out the brain evolution chart, I stuck it on the chalk tray of the blackboard, and I turned to the students and I said, look, if you will just listen to me for the next 45 minutes, I can promise you, if you know what I know now, you will never have to be in these classes for the rest of your junior high and high school career. And so I started explaining to them how they could use their mind, how they could get themselves relaxed with their eyes closed, turn slightly upward, so that they could take some deep breaths and cause total relaxation, and how they could reprogram themselves. And the final end result was that within a week, I was already starting to get feedback in the hall. Students were stopping me, and they were so excited because they were saying, I never had anything above a D before. Some of them would say, I never had anything above a C. And I just got 100 on my last test because I tried all those techniques that you taught us last week. I got excited about the results that these students were having because all I was a brand new graduate. I had just graduated the night before I started sharing it the next morning. That got me even more excited, and from there I ended up going back to my director and getting the training that I needed to share this method with as many people as possible. I guess because of the compassion that I developed over the years with the suffering that I did in the 8th grade, as I would see people who were living on the street in the different cities that I visited, something in me said, someday I'm going to help those people. But like I said earlier, I never was able to actually put together a program because my life was so busy. But by listening to my intuition, by the coincidences that happened in my life, by my concern for just going out and helping someone without any expectation of being compensated, just wanting to help those people is what actually not only changed the lives of some homeless people that I work with in Baltimore, it brought about positive changes in my life. Several years after I had worked with the homeless, Ed Byrne asked me to write an article on what I had done with the homeless. It ended up going around the world twice, once in a newsletter and once in a magazine. This past August at the World Convention in Laredo, Texas, I had a number of people who actually came up to me and were thanking me for that article that they had seen either in the magazine or the newsletter. This one woman said to herself, if Jonelle could help someone, then why can't I? And there's a woman who actually started a whole program for working with abused children after reading the article, which has been operating for about 2 years now. So for me, the rewards were knowing that just my going out and expecting nothing, and I got back everything, hearing that now other people in different states and different countries have started similar programs. In order for you to change your self-image and create success in your life, I'm going to share with you 2 of the techniques that help me change my self-image. The first one is the mental screen. I was able to accomplish success in a number of fields by using my mental screen. So the way I was able to have success in so many different areas was visualization and imagination. Visualization was remembering the situation, and imagination was creating what I wanted. And you do this on the mental screen that was created by Jose Silva. Let me explain the location of the mental screen. It's like a home movie screen or a panoramic screen that could actually surround your entire body, or like a home movie screen out in front of you. So to locate your mental screen, begin with your eyes closed, turn slightly upward about 20 degrees above the horizontal plane of sight. The area that you perceive is your mental screen. So without using your eyelids as screens, you want to sense your mental screen to be out and away from your body. To improve the use of your mental screen, project images or mental pictures onto the screen, especially images having color. Concentrate on mentally sensing and visualizing true color. Now, in order to use your mental screen to correct problems, you're going to learn the 3 scenes technique. Whenever you desire to use the 3 scenes technique, enter your level with a 3-to-1 method. Create and project onto your mental screen, directly in front of you, an image of the problem or the situation that you desire to work on. Recall details of what the problem looks like in the first scene, directly in front of you. Make a good study of the problem so that you are completely aware of all aspects of it. If you have programmed in this manner previously for this particular project, then take into account any changes that have taken place since you most recently programmed. After making a good study of the problem of the existing situation, then shift your awareness to your left approximately 15 degrees. In a second scene, to the left of the first scene, towards your left, mentally picture yourself taking action and doing something to correct the problem, and imagine the correction beginning to take place. Now in the third scene, another 15 degrees farther to the left, to your left, create and project an image of the solution. Imagine many people benefiting from the solution of this problem. The more people who benefit, the better. Anytime in the future when you think of this project, visualize the image that you created of the solution in the third scene. So, how would you like to experience this kind of success? In our next session, I will guide you through the mental screen technique and the 3 scenes technique so that you may apply these techniques in any area of your life so that you may be happy, fulfilled, and more prosperous than ever before. This is the mental screen and 3 scenes technique of Jose Silva's Ultramind ESP system. I'm Jonelle Monaco Lytle, and I'll be your guide. In the background, you will hear the gentle tapping of the alpha sound. This sound will help your brain adjust to the alpha rhythm. This tape is to be used with eyes closed, so do not play it when you are driving or performing any other activity that requires the use of your eyesight. Remember that if at any time you feel uncomfortable, readjust your position to make yourself more comfortable. If you feel you must open your eyes for any reason, then open your eyes and make yourself comfortable. If you open your eyes, then rewind the tape and start again at the beginning. Anytime you desire to relax, mentally or verbally repeat the word relax, and you will relax physically and mentally. This mind training exercise is based on one originally copyrighted by Jose Silva of Laredo, Texas in 1969 after 25 years of research. New material on this tape is copyrighted in the year 2000 by Silva Ultramind Systems. Reproduction, free redistribution is strictly prohibited. Now prepare for this mind training exercise by finding a comfortable position. We will begin this exercise with a 3-to-1 method. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and while exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 3 3 times. To help you learn to relax physically at level 3, I am going to direct your attention to different parts of your body. Relax your scalp. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes. Relax your face. Relax your throat. Relax your shoulders. Relax your chest externally and internally. Relax your abdominal area, externally and internally. Relax your thighs. Relax your knees. Relax your calves. Relax your feet. You are now at a deeper, healthier level of mind, deeper than before. This is your physical relaxation level 3. Whenever you mentally repeat and visualize the number 3, your body will relax as completely as you are now, and more so every time you practice. To enter mental relaxation level 2, take a deep breath, and while exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 2 3 times, and you are at level 2, a deeper level than 3. Level 2 is for mental relaxation where noises will not distract you. Instead, noises will help you to relax mentally more and more. To improve mental relaxation at level 2, practice visualizing tranquil and passive scenes. To enter the basic plane level, take a deep breath and while exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 1 3 times. You are now at level 1, the basic plane level that you can use for a purpose, any purpose you desire. To help you enter a deeper, healthier level of mind, I am going to count from 10 to 1. On each descending number, you will feel yourself going deeper, and you will enter a deeper, healthier level of mind. 10, 9, feel going deeper. 8, 7, 6, deeper and deeper. 5, 4, 3, deeper and deeper. 2, 1. You are now at a deeper, healthier level of mind, deeper than before. It is a wonderful feeling to be deeply relaxed, a very healthy state of being. You will continue to listen to my voice. You will continue to follow the instructions at this level of the mind and any other level, including the outer conscious level. This is for your benefit. You desire it, and it is so. Whenever you mentally or verbally mention the word relax, all unnecessary movements and activities of your body, brain, and mind will cease immediately, and you will become completely passive and relaxed physically and mentally. I may bring you out of this level or a deeper level than this by counting to you from 1 to 5. At the count of 5, your eyes will open, you will be wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health. Effective sensory projection statements for success. I am now learning to attune my intelligence by developing my sensing faculties and to project them to any point or place on this planet so as to be aware of any actions taking place, if this is necessary and beneficial for humanity. I am now learning to attune my intelligence by developing my sensing faculties and to project them to any point or place on any planet within the solar system, any solar system within the galaxy, and any galaxy within the universe, so as to be aware of any actions taking place if this is necessary and beneficial for humanity. I am now learning to attune my intelligence by developing my sensing faculties and to project them to the different matter kingdoms, the inanimate matter kingdom, any of its levels and depths, the animate matter kingdom with reproductive intelligence, plant life and animal life, any of its levels and depths, and the animate matter kingdom with reproductive intelligence and an awareness of existence, the human body and mind kingdom, any of its levels and depths. I am now learning to detect abnormalities whenever such abnormalities exist within any kingdom, any level, and any depth, if this is necessary and beneficial for humanity. I am now learning to apply corrective measures and to bring back to normalcy any abnormality found within any kingdom, any level, and any depth, if this is necessary and beneficial for humanity. Negative thoughts and negative suggestions have no influence over me at any level of the mind. The following laws are to be considered when programming. Do to others only what you like others to do to you. The solution must be within the possibility area. The solution must help to make this planet a better place to live. The solution must be the best for everybody concerned. The solution must help at least 2 or more persons. The following principles apply to programming. Objective physical communication takes place at the beta, left brain dimension, using the objective physical senses. The hearing is used for perception, and the voice is used for transmission. Subjective, spiritual communication takes place at the alpha, right brain dimension by using the spiritual senses. Visualization is used for perception, and imagination is used for transmission. In the objective, physical dimension, the past is behind us, the present is our present position, and the future is ahead of us. In the subjective, spiritual dimension, the past is to your right, the present is centered straight ahead, and the future is to your left. We will now impress new information for your benefit, programming the mental screen. To locate your mental screen, begin with your eyes closed, turn slightly upward from the horizontal plane of sight at an angle of approximately 20 degrees. The area that you perceive with your mind is your mental screen. Without using your eyelids as screens, sense your mental screen to be out, away from your body. To improve the use of your mental screen, project images or mental pictures onto the screen, especially images having color. Concentrate on mentally sensing and visualizing true color. We will now impress and program for your benefit Jose Silva's 3 scenes technique. Whenever you desire to use the 3 scenes technique, enter your level with a 3-to-1 method. Create and project onto your mental screen, directly in front of you, an image of the problem or the situation that you desire to work on. Recall details of what the problem looks like in the first scene, directly in front of you. Make a good study of the problem so that you are completely aware of all aspects of it. If you have programmed in this manner previously for this particular project, then take into account any changes that have taken place since your most recent programming session. After making a good study of the problem, of the existing situation, then shift your awareness to your left, approximately 15 degrees. In a second scene to the left of the first scene, toward your left, mentally picture yourself taking action and doing something to correct the problem, and imagine the correction beginning to take place. Now in the third scene, another 15 degrees farther to the left, to your left, create and project an image of the solution. Imagine many people benefiting from the solution to this problem. The more people who benefit, the better. Anytime in the future when you think of this project, visualize the image that you created of the solution in the third scene. I will now allow you time to work on one project. You have practiced entering deep, healthy levels of mind. In your next session, you will enter a deeper, healthier level of mind faster and easier than this time. Every time you function at these levels of the mind, you will receive beneficial effects physically and mentally. You may use these levels of the mind to help yourself physically and mentally. You may use these levels of the mind to help your loved ones physically and mentally. You may use these levels of the mind to help any human being who needs help physically and mentally. You will never use these levels of the mind to harm any human being. If this be your intention, you will not be able to function within these levels of the mind. You will always use these levels of the mind in a constructive, creative manner for all that is good, honest, pure, clean, and positive, and this is so. You will continue to strive to take part in constructive and creative activities to make this a better world to live in, so that when we move on, we shall have left behind a better world for those who follow. You will consider the whole of humanity, depending on their ages as fathers or mothers, brothers or sisters, sons or daughters. You are a superior human being. You have greater understanding, compassion, and patience with others. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. At that moment, you will open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. You will have no ill effects whatsoever in your head, no headache, no ill effects whatsoever in your hearing, no buzzing in your ears, no ill effects whatsoever in your vision and eyesight. Vision, eyesight, and hearing improve every time you function at these levels of the mind. 1, 2, coming out slowly now. 3, at the count of 5, you will open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before, feeling the way you feel when you have slept the right amount of revitalizing, refreshing, relaxing, healthy sleep. 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. And may the rest of your life be the best of your life, and this is so. This concludes the mental screen and the 3 scenes technique for Jose Silva's Ultramind ESP system.